dredging at Samsons Island and sidewalks for Barnstable Village. Details from Tuesday night's Conservation Commission hearing on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, March 20th, 2013. I'm Sarah Colvin. Plans to enhance pedestrian access to Barnstable Village are moving forward. Tuesday night, Tom McGuire, a district environmental engineer for the Mass Department of Transportation, presented plans for sidewalk improvements on Route 6A in Barnstable Village to the Conservation Commission.
Because some people are interested in having a walkable sidewalk out there for all kinds of folks, even folks with disabilities. So we have very stringent rules and regulations from both the federal and state government relative to the Architectural Access Board and the Americans with Disabilities Act that give us very stringent rules relative to the sidewalk size, and that being 5 feet wide, and also wheelchair ramps and detailed design on those things. We've included in your package a locust map, and you can see it just along Route 6A Main Street, and that's south of Marispin Creek, the major wetland area there. And we also have included a section of 8 pages for plans of the proposed sidewalk. Basically, it's just where the sidewalk is there now, and it's to reconstruct that existing location all along the southern section from the Coast Guard Museum to Bragg's Lane. And then from Bragg's Lane, jumping across the street via a crosswalk to the north side of 6A, and running from there, I think it's House 3480, over to Commerce Road. It's a total distance of about 2,750 feet. And what we're proposing to do is excavate the existing very narrow bituminous concrete sidewalk that's out there now, and excavate down, put in some gravel or dense graded crushed stone, and then put in 3 inches of blacktop to make the new 5-foot wide sidewalk. That will have a grass strip along most of its length between the roadway itself and the new sidewalk.
That project was unanimously approved. Next up, Sandy Neck Beach Park manager Nina Coleman appeared before the board. She pitched a project to construct a dune overlook at Sandy Neck.
We're proposing, rather than having all this foot traffic in that location, to build a overlook, 25-foot walkway to approximately 12 by 12 foot overlook that would not be cantilevered over. That would come right to the edge of that grade change with wood footings. The area is in the C zone, flood zone, and of course it is in endangered species habitat according to the maps, as is every square inch of Sandy Neck. And it is outside of the 50-foot buffer zone to the interdural swale, or the isolated wetland that's at the base of that overlook. So it's outside of the 50-foot, but within the 100-foot.
Coleman asked for some extra time to complete that project.
We are presently doing our annual marsh trail repair, and unfortunately, due to the multiple storms, both Nemo and then that big blow that happened in early March, we weren't able to get going on that project in a timely manner. And so I am requesting a small increase in the timing on that. Generally, we need to be done by the 1st of April, and I'm requesting that we get to that Friday, which is the 5th. The timing does not affect our turtle populations. Really, that is more about plovers. Plovers will have returned, but at that point, they're not doing any nesting activities, so I couldn't see how that would affect that population.
The board gave its nod, but did say they'd like some more environmental review. Plans to dredge Samsons Island and use the spoils to replenish Dead Neck were again before the Conservation Commission last night. Mass Audubon presented their portion of the project.
The dredging and renourishment project proposed by our 2 organizations will restore and protect habitat for coastal birds. Nourishment of Dead Neck and habitat management will 1. Restore approximately 12 acres of open sand habitat for nesting birds, 2, provide a sand source to widen the Nantucket Sound beach over approximately 5 to 10 years. 3, enhance habitat through vegetation, predator, and disturbance management. And 4, protect the island from breaching. Protecting the island from breaching is critical to maintaining Deadneck Samsons Island as an island, which is a relatively isolated area that's isolated from mainland ground predators, and that's a key attribute for ground nesting birds. Breaching is predicted to result in the disintegration of the island and cause the remainder of Deadneck to join with Oyster Harbors, and the remainder of Samsons Island would eventually attach to Cotuit. We believe the project will meet our objectives because a similar renourishment project that took place on the island in the year 2000 was extraordinarily successful. When a similar volume of material was placed on Deadneck in 2000, we documented a dramatic 700% increase in nesting terns. Over time, the abundance of nesting plovers greatly increased from 4 to 26 pairs as the south coast of the island widened. Based on decades of nest studies on the island, we anticipate that perhaps up to 3 nesting territories of plovers will be displaced through the removal of sand from Samsons Island. However, based on prior renourishment projects, we expect to gain 10 to 15 new nesting territories through habitat restoration and enhancement. In addition, a wider beach will reduce the threat of predators and increase reproductive success. In closing, I'd like to note that Deadneck Samsons Island has provided habitat to rare coastal birds for decades. It is the most important site for plovers on the southern Massachusetts coast west of Monomoy. In addition, large numbers of least and common terns have nested on the island, and historically the endangered roseate tern has nested on the island and currently uses foraging habitats near the island to prepare for migration. Because of the value of this island to bird conservation, and in keeping with our obligations as landowners, Mass Audubon and Three Braes Preservation are dedicated to restoring habitat on the island to continue protection for these vulnerable coastal bird species.
The plan has proved to be quite controversial and has met with some very passionate response from those living in the area. A number of people took to the podium Tuesday night to share their thoughts on the plan.
I certainly want to see all the birds happy there. Want the birds to be happy. I want the whole island to maintain and the east end to be nourished. But I think it's just really extreme to be taking 800 feet off the western tip. That tip of the island does protect not only Bluff Point, but the entire of Cotuit Harbor. Even in the prevailing winds, never mind a 10-year storm, the sand at Bluff Point was not growing. That's been stated in January.
You know, the state of the island in a historic sense was probably a natural process. And to call eliminating 11 acres through a single dredging project an historic or a maintenance dredging project just doesn't make any sense.
I don't claim to know any of all of this, but it appears to me that this plan has an awful lot of study that's been done to it with an awful lot of historical data, and I don't know, I find it amusing that as a society we are very good at critiquing everyone else's work and suggesting that it probably could be done better. So I just want to go on the record and saying I do support the Dead Neck Dredge project, and I believe that it is obvious that the sand is certainly migrating and changing, and something certainly must be done.
The Conservation Commission said they appreciated all the public input. The matter will be taken up again at the Concom's May 14th meeting. You can watch last night's hearing in its entirety online at town.barnstable.ma.us. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.